Torah portion, we have that famous encounter between Joseph, and his brothers. This is after they sold him into slavery, and after Joseph was imprisoned, and with the amazing turnaround of events, he becomes the viceroy of Egypt, second in command to Pharaoh himself. And when Joseph arranges that his brothers would have to come see him, the Torah tells us that they did not recognize him, but he recognized them. And practically it means that Joseph's life was aged. His experiences made him look much older. He had a beard now. When he left his brothers, he was just a young lad at 17. They were already mature boys, so he recognized them, but they didn't recognize him. And the fact of the matter is, many times we see people on a daily basis, but when we don't see them in their environment, or we don't expect the person that we see on a daily basis to ever look like this. For instance, the person who's the cashier at Publix, all of a sudden you see them somewhere else, you're trying to rack your brain to actually know where you saw them. So they didn't recognize Joseph, but Joseph recognized them. But there's a far deeper meaning, a message to the Torah. The Torah is telling us that this is really the core of the Jewish problem. When we don't get along with each other, we can do terrible things. Even selling someone short, selling someone to enslavement, wanting them dead, God forbid. And this has always been the story from the beginning of Genesis. If you noticed, brothers were always fighting, from Cain and Abel to Jacob and Esau. And also with Joseph and his brothers, until actually they repented, there was tremendous strife between them. And so we as a Jewish nation must recognize that our strengths come from being one family. And the only reason why you don't feel like one family is because you're not recognizing them. You're looking at them and imagining that the way they behave, or the things they say, the dreams they claim they're having, are a language that you don't understand, and they have an appearance that you just don't appreciate. That's when you don't recognize what truly makes someone family. And what makes someone family is when you're born to the same family. And when you're born to the same family, all the trappings of life, language, dress, even our political positions should not be sufficient to drive a wedge between the two of us. And when we can recognize that what we did was terrible, and that they truly are our brother and sister, then just like Joseph and his brothers, after all the terrible experiences, are able to live together and evolve wealthier, better, more at peace in a land that was strange to them. They were very successful in Egypt. And this is what we have to remember as Jews. We have to recognize that if we can get along with each other, we can overcome anything. The other unfortunate part is, just like we have to recognize who are truly family, we also have to recognize who's not only not family, but unfortunately an enemy. Because if you don't recognize that, and you keep convincing yourself that as long as I behave in a certain way, everyone will want to be my family member. And that's not true. There are some people that simply don't want you to be. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter how big of a piece of land or how small a piece of land you have. They just don't want you. Your simple existence bothers them. And if that's the case, then you need to make that difficult decision that either you keep them very far away or you eliminate the threat to your mishpacha, to your family. We do anything to protect our family, and that's what we have to do. So take a lesson from Joseph and his brothers. Don't ever find yourself in a position where you don't recognize your own brother or sister, because it's the only family that we have. and spend your time of discernment, recognizing who are not only family, but they're not your friends. Good Shabbos.